56. If it's happening in the world of sports, we've got it covered. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time with Wolo and Stacks. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
Good Monday afternoon to you, and we welcome you in on this last day of September as we close out this month. College football after next weekend, for many, half over. How in the world does that happen? And for everybody, college football's over for September, and one remaining for the National Football League tonight. And we'll have all that action tonight right here for you through Westwood One. Dave's out today. He'll be back tomorrow. We look forward to seeing him tomorrow with a lot to go over with him, including Mitch Trubisky news. Does not look good for Mitch Trubisky. Chase Daniel, no S, singular. Whew, Tony Romo couldn't get that right yesterday. What if that had been a drinking game, the number of times he would say Daniels? Coma.
Everybody would have been drunk.
Is it that big a deal? No, it's not. But
it is the man's name.
It's the man's name. It is the man's name. No more than he's Tony Romo's. No more. No more than he's Tony Romo's. He's good. Tony Romo's great. He's very entertaining. And he's tapped into kind of the Madden speak, diction, bam, wow, ugh. I mean, the guttural performance, he's tapped into that. I think it's real. I think it's very real. I think he's very good. But he is definitely, on any, it was the knee down, Jim. I think that ball was coming loose. He builds the drama. He does. And that's kind of what you want out of your analyst and to also analyze and to be clairvoyant on what's coming up in the game. He was there on Sunday after a spectacular round on the PGA Tour on Thursday at the event in Napa. Not so spectacular Friday, and that got him there on time as he missed the cut and did not make the cut. Wonder how the PGA players, wonder if they mind him around.
I don't think they would. Just like I don't think do they really mind Steph Curry being around?
Why would they? What threat is he?
None whatsoever. I mean,
what's he going to get that they want? I mean,
nothing. And it's not like he's going to really ever take a spot on the tour. By the time either one of those guys that we just mentioned is anywhere close to being actually good enough week in and week out to be on the tour, they'd only be able to qualify for the senior tour.
And I'm sure, and I know some young guys right now in the Memphis area that are scratching and clawing to get their spot. But if he's taking that one opportunity for them, are they really going to parlay that week into a weekend win? Really? Were they?
No, probably not. Although we did see a lot of new faces this year, guys that were able to parlay something like that. New guys that I can't even remember the names of it right now.
A lot of them. And already we're in the wraparound with Joaquin Neiman and Sebastian Munoz. Already with the wraparound with the year started. Well, we want you to be a part of this show today at 360-8255. That's our First Bank phone line. And the First Bank text line, you know it, it's 67129. Grizzlies Media Day. Today, it gets started for real next Sunday afternoon with an exhibition game at FedEx Forum. Well, kind of for real. The exhibition season gets started for real before the regular season gets started for real a few weeks later. But Grizzlies Media Day today, we will go back downtown to FedEx Forum and visit with David Cobb at 4 o'clock from the Commercial Appeal and talk about everything Grizzlies today. I will ask him this question, and I would like people's input at 67129. Or at 360-8255. And I asked this of you. I told you I had a high hard one in the first segment with the announcement today that John Hollinger has joined the staff of The Athletic. I look forward to that. Like John here, like reading him in the past at places, namely ESPN, where he developed the purr. What's the lasting legacy of John Hollinger in Memphis? I'm going to ask David that. Is that fair?
I think it's fair because
What'd he do?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one single thing.
Squadoosh, nothing. He did nothing. What did he do? What impact did he have? Good or bad?
Honestly, it's probably at this point a good thing that we don't remember anything because it could have been a lot.
Anything, did it?
Right, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I guess. And it was worth trying. As I said then, I think on the day it was announced that he was being brought in. I think it's always good to get smarter, but have everything, all the above, analytics, put on the game tape, old-fashioned scouting, and all the analytics of today's stuff that goes into making up the team. But I had no problem with that. I just don't know that he did a whole lot other than yet another bullet point on a already great resume.
And like I said, I think that's ultimately good, especially with all the turmoil that's been around the Grizzlies. Too many cooks in the kitchen. So many different things go around.
What'd he cook?
Blame.
What'd he cook? A souffle?
Maybe he was only just stirring the soup. I don't know.
It's like,
but he didn't burn the kitchen down.
The green bean casserole. I bet he could make a mean green bean casserole.
Oh, I bet he could. And I love me a mean green bean casserole. It's probably one of my favorite Thanksgivings.
One of my least favorite. As that meal at Thanksgiving time. Why didn't the Pilgrims kill a cow? Why aren't we eating steak at Thanksgiving? Turkey's just not my favorite thing. Or really about anything out of the traditional Thanksgiving Day spread. My mother knows how I feel. I'm not hurting her feelings here because, she could put on a spread at Thanksgiving and did forever. And it was great. And we all enjoyed it. And the familiar time, that was great. Wasn't a single dish there that really suits my fancy. Not one. How come we can't have Tex-Mex at Thanksgiving?
Because that's just not how we do
I know.
it. You could. You could start a new family tradition if you want to
when
away.
Do you
but
eat cranberries otherwise the rest of the year?
Never. And I don't even eat them at Thanksgiving.
What about sweet potatoes? Other than Thanksgiving,
I'll eat a sweet potato, but not a sweet potato casserole.
There's so many things at Thanksgiving that are traditional. We all do. We all that day either like or act like we like them. You don't eat it 4 more times a year.
I honestly could say Thanksgiving is the only time I eat turkey.
I do love I like the 36-hour bird from the commissary. I do love that. But I'm not a big dressing guy.
I don't like it. See, my Thanksgiving, I'm real simple. I'm turkey, turkey, mashed potatoes and gravy, maybe a little sweet potato casserole, and green bean casserole. That's all I eat. And
the whole giblet pronunciation conundrum we have at Thanksgiving. Who cares? Why do we fight it out over giblet or giblet? Come on.
If I had to vote, it's giblet.
but so that's what he did. But you're right. He did not burn down the kitchen. But the kitchen got burned down on his watch, though, didn't it? But he didn't burn it down. No, he didn't. He did not. He was not the.
And I think that's
he was not the accelerant for that. But that kitchen did burn down.
It did. And I think if you were one of the cooks in the past 10 years of this Grizzlies front office, the best thing you can say is, at least I didn't burn it down. I might not have helped it not burn down, but I didn't like the match.
And we will move on. It is time to move on with the new team. And I've said, while on the days that it merits it, that it warrants it, I will be critical. I think I have been. But I do think, I'm just going to speak about me. I think at times it's been a little flag wavy through the years. That doesn't mean to totally repel back the other way and just try to be Mr. Everything's wrong, because you made that mistake once before. But how many people in the last 8 years that have come and gone in that Grizzlies kitchen that we often talk about with so many cooks in it, how many left it better? How many left it better than they found it? How many can really say, look, when it all washed out in Memphis, I'm in the positive column? How many could do that?
I don't think
front office people. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about players in uniform or even coaches. Front office people a lot of people don't even know about.
I don't think there is one, because even just the few good things that obviously the playoff run was great, the Zebo, the big 4 years and everything was great, but for a lot of those people, they stay too long to where by the time that they
we
were
just
out,
remember the end.
We kind of do. We just remember the end and how badly it ended for some of them.
So, and I bring that around to the news of the day, and we'll get bigger into it. So this is really how it ends for Joe Madden in Chicago. Really. Boy, it's tough out there, isn't it?
It is, and I told Dave on Friday, I think it's a premature decision. I think it's way too early to start trying to think about blowing it up. I mean, why blow up a team that won a World Series 3 years ago, been in playoff, and was in playoff contention up till the last week and a half of the season? Mm-hmm. I mean, there's half the league can't say that.
But he lived in an eggshell existence most of the year. Do you remember, I want to say it was the first weekend in May. I think it was Kentucky Derby weekend. I know that's first weekend in May. And I said on a Friday, I think the Cubs need a good weekend or they could do something. And they did. And they got on a roll, really, kind of from that point on. I think we're 3 or 4 up in the loss column around August 5th, August 6th or something. You know, the Cardinals had lost 5 in a row, maybe more than that on a West Coast trip. Just look lifeless. And then they got hot from that point. But how much better would Joe Madden have been this year if he'd have been supported instead of having to live that eggshell existence? I don't think that helped at all. And you say they don't need a blow up. I don't think they need a blow up either. But if you're not going to blow it up, why don't you let him hang around and tinker with it?
Exactly. That's what my main point was. There's no need to blow it up. There's no need to get rid of Joe Madden. And I think you're exactly right. People work better when they're being supported and they have faith shown in people showing faith in them and not having to walk on eggshells, not having to worry about every time he puts in a new pitcher with 2 outs to go in the 7th inning, is this going to come back and bite me in the butt?
Because he didn't just become Zany Joe overnight.
No. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you know what you're doing like that, when you have to literally worry about every single move, it's just you're going to second-guess yourself, and it's going to turn out bad.
So much to discuss from this weekend, the college football, the NFL. I mentioned Grizzlies Media Day, and we will talk about it all. We will have Precious Metals coming up about 3:30, college football weekend recap to close out Hour 1. Mentioned David Cobb to start Hour 2. John Thompson with us at 4:30 to talk college football with us. At 4:50, we'll have our Ghoul-style segment from the weekend. 5 o'clock, top of the final hour, Cecil Hurt, the columnist from the Tuscaloosa News. I saw Cecil on Saturday. He will join us to talk about the new number 1 team in college football, Alabama. The old boss meet the new boss.
Do you think it was
new boss beat the old boss?
Do you think that Alabama deserved to jump Clemson? I know they barely won 21-20 against North Carolina, but
what would that be the equivalent of in the SEC? If Bama goes on the road and they win by 1 because the other team, Phil Longo, dials up a really dumb play. I love the call, love the strategy, didn't like the call, didn't like the execution, and that's very easy to say after it doesn't work, isn't it? That's very easy on Monday on Memphis Sports Talk Radio to do that, and I don't really like doing that, but what's the equivalent in the SEC of who would that have been for Alabama to go on the road and only win by 1 because they failed a 2-point play?
Maybe South Carolina, who lost to North Carolina earlier this year.
Exactly, and who Alabama beat pretty bad, except for South Carolina scoring on the last play of the game, as did Ole Miss. I owe y'all lunch.
I'm excited about it.
Have you toted it up?
No, I haven't done. You sent that you owe us lunch, so I didn't even try.
Well, add 157 and 28. What do you get? That's 185. And the bet was Alabama would win their first 5 games by an average of
38.
Original bet was 40. Y'all were nice enough to go down 2 points, and I was fully prepared either at 38 or 39, maybe even 40 to call it a push. But I lost. I'm going to pay 5 into 185. That's 37. And Drew, as we all say on this show, a little bit out of bounds is out of bounds, isn't it?
It is. I mean, whether you're 1 foot out of bounds or 4 feet, it's the same thing.
I could no more take that meal from y'all. I couldn't. I mean, because
I wouldn't be too heartbroken if you did. I could understand 37 points. I mean, that hurts.
No, because Drew, I don't want later, like very well is going to happen to Dave, a banner coming down. I mean, I take the fruits of victory, and then that banner comes down. Like Like the investigative process is ongoing on the golf picks from last year. He just doesn't know it yet.
He doesn't.
Eyes
The
on
banner is coming down, regardless of what he thinks.
Kansas isn't the only one getting a letter. Dave's getting a letter. And I just don't want that. I don't want to suffer that humiliation of that banner coming down because 37 ain't 38.
That's very true. And you're a big person for doing that.
Well, thank you, Drew. And I'd like to think of myself as that. And South Carolina and Ole Miss give up touchdowns on practically the last plays of both of those games for me to get there easily. That was a 31-point margin Saturday. Yes, yeah, that's right. 59-28, right? 31, yeah. That was the score. I was there. Much closer than the last 2 years, but really from midway in the second quarter, you knew who was going to win that game, and Devontae Smith and Tua Tagovailoa just put on a show. If Tua is not the best Alabama quarterback ever, I think he is. I think you can text and you can call all you want, and I love them both. The Joe Namath faction, the Kenny Stabler faction. I love them both. I love Jay Barker. I love A.J. McCarron. Love Stedman Shealy. Love Steve Sloan. Love Scott Hunter. Tua is the best. Man, he makes it look so easy, and he's sitting back there in the Chase Lounge. They don't put the Alabama offensive line, while young, really good pass blocking. They're not bulldozers run blocking. They are not. We'll visit with Cecil Hurd about that at 5:30. We'll have our Monday Night Football preview of Steelers and Bengals and our big four for both of those franchises in their history. We'll wrap it up with Taco Bell Crunch Time. I'm in the Family Leisure Studio where family and fun come together. Huge discount on all spas. Now is the time to buy. Over 50 spas in stock and ready to ship. $8,000 spas now, only $44.99. Four-person spas starting at $24.99. Swim spas from $89.99. Lowest prices all year at Family Leisure. Special financing available. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Get out there and see those good folks. So over the weekend in the SEC, all three of us from our preseason predictions, we all went 6-0. It's been back-to-back really easy weekends to pick in the SEC. We all go 6-0. I am 43-9 for the season. That's 83%. Dave's 43-9 from the preseason. You're 42-10. So nobody really.
I'll take it.
Pretty passe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's been mostly it's been pretty chalk. I will admit. Now, the only problem is I can't translate the preseason chalk into my weekly picks against the lines.
We'll go over those numbers later. Lexus of Memphis brings you this hour every day, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity Fall Sales Event. Great offers on all the remaining 2019 models and the 2020s that are rolling in, and always special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus as well. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship or the really, really all-new 2020 flagship LS 500s, and you will be looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Phone number 901-362-8833. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
You first, Drew.
All right.
Or you got enough going on you want me to go first?
Dealer's choice.
Go ahead.
All right.
You please.
My top story of the day is Oakland Raiders linebacker Vontaze Burfict has been suspended for the rest of the 2019 season for his helmet-to-helmet hit Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts tight end Jack Doyle. And I think this is the top story of the day because it actually shows that the NFL is taking it seriously.
They are.
For all the time up until now, you could still make an argument that they're still trying to sweep all this helmet and head injury stuff under the rug.
Too.
He is an easy target. He's been in trouble for this and PEDs previously in his career, especially with Cincinnati.
This was almost central casting. If they had to do this, Vontaze Burfict was perfect for it. Sorry for the rhyming there, but also this one. The way he left the field. He was smug, blowing kisses to the stands. What do the kids call it these days about pro wrestling? What are those? What are the bad
the
guys?
heel. He's a heel.
He was the heel of all time.
Just
wasn't he?
smiling and
Laughing.
grinning.
I mean, he begged to get booted. Now, I know they will, and I know they almost have an obligation to, but is there anything the Players Association won't appeal and won't object to?
They're going to appeal it, but it's like appealing against yourself. I mean, this is something that you helped put into place.
And that's
the
what they never
NFLPA helped make this an actual rule, but now they're going to appeal it. I don't understand it, but they got to do what they got to do, I guess.
My top story of the day, as I predicted in March when we did baseball predictions, the winner of the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals. And also I picked the Cubs to come in fourth. They came in third. That's a lot closer to fourth than it is to first, though. And they fired Joe Madden, 471 and 338 in his 5 years on the north side. I don't know who they're going to hire as the next guy. I bet the next guy doesn't average winning 94 a year. And I bet the next guy doesn't last 5 years. I don't care who they hire. I bet he doesn't last 5 years. High hard one. You ready for a second high hard one in the first segment? Is that allowed?
I will allow it.
Joe Madden, did he overachieve or underachieve in his time as skipper of the Cubs?
That's not high and that's not hard. He overachieved big.
Exactly.
108 year drought.
You're exactly right.
He overachieved.
It was not high. It was not hard, and it is easy. He had a parade. They have the Commissioner's Trophy in Chicago for the first time in 108 years, and this is how it ended. During that parade in 2016, during that on-field celebration, after that play, Chris Bryant made in no man's land, or Cleveland wins, and they're convinced in black cats and billy goats and curses. Who would have believed 3 years later this is how it ends?
I know I wouldn't have. I would have thought that they would have strung another couple together. I think everybody did.
If I'd have come in the next day and said, yep, 3 years from now, Jolly Joe, O'Garreless Joe, he'll be out, I would have sounded like a big Cardinal buffoon hater.
We'd have laughed you out of the studio.
And should have been. And you would have been. Anybody would have been. The smartest, most plugged-in guy in Chicago covering the Cubs, if during that just had surmised the possibility this is how it's going to end in 3 years, maybe 6, maybe 5, but 3, and missing the playoffs once, and that's this year, it blew me away.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story of the day is Brad Ausmus out as the Angels manager after only one season, a season that was
Drew,
full of big difficulties.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of taking that victory lap about the preseason predictions with the Cardinals. Do you remember who my AL manager of the year was in the preseason?
Was it Brad Ausmus?
There it is. Right there. You see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Show it to the camera. Brad Ausmus Angels. Ouch.
I think I had Bruce Bochy as being my manager of the year in the National League.
National League, I had Mike Schilt. Right there. See it? See Mike Schilt?
Yep, you can see it on the camera.
Yeah.
But this is reason I put this as my not top story. One, because he got fired after 1 year. And two, I'm all for being loyal to the team that drafted you, being loyal to that fan base that has shown you so much love. But if I'm Mike Trout, having not made the playoffs in the last 5 years,
Get to the East Coast, man.
Yes, I got paid. I got paid really, really well, but I'm wasting my career. I'm never going to win a ring, and it's just not going to happen.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It really does.
It really does. My not top story is 18 undefeateds in college football, and FBS college football remain on this last hot day of September. ACC, 2 of them, Wake and Clemson. OU and Baylor in the Big 12. 5 from the Big 10, Penn State, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Iowa, and P.J. Fleck rowing that boat to a successful undefeated. They easily could be winless if you look at their games and their scores and how those games have been won. Mountain West Conference won with Boise State. 5 from the SEC, the 2 combatants from the Cocktail Party, the 2 from the Iron Bowl, and LSU. 1 from the Sun Belt, App State. Really good story. Got a good friend of mine running sports information there, Joey Jones, great guy. And good for App State. And 2 from the AAC, SMU and the Tigers, and the possibility of the November 2nd collision course they are on. Tiger fans, be glad SMU's in the poll. Pull like
I'm happy
for them.
Now, I would have preferred us being in the top 25 as well,
Fine.
but 23 in the coaches, I'll take it.
And we'll get there with attrition. with the next few wins and the national teams that fall out. Very real possibility. SMU and the Tigers play on November 2nd at the Liberty Bowl, whether game day's there or not, never mind that, of about 14 versus 16 that day.
Real possibility.
If they stay undefeated, those two stay undefeated, and just the natural attrition, losses, backsliding that happens, and you keep winning on November 2nd, 14 versus 16 at the Liberty Bowl, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Phenomenal. I'd take it in a heartbeat.
Can I move that to my top story of the day?
Sure.
I may have had them out of
order.
order.
Go ahead and switch it.
I may have had them out of order. We've got a lot in store for you today, and we want you to be a part of it. 360-8255. First Bank phone line, 67129. First Bank text line. And Dave's out today. He'll be back in here tomorrow. When we come back, we will have our medals. We want your medals at the numbers, be it text or phone line that I just gave out to you. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Get happy with Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Weekday afternoons from 1 till 3 on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar? Your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick. It's happened again. Miramichi, that heaven in Woodstock, 15 miles north of downtown Memphis. Miramichi has been made the #1 public golf course in the state of Tennessee. 15 minutes from downtown, all this natural beauty, this very tough test of golf is there for you, and it's #1 again. They've improved again, too. They've made changes. They always do. They want you to have the best golfing experience you could possibly have. And they keep on making these adjustments. They've knocked down some trees. They made it easier. They have better conditions with grass. The greens, outstanding. And once again, they are #1. I also should tell you they've got new golf carts, and they've got these cool little things where you hook up your phone, it'll charge, and at the same time, you've got GPS on your phone. All kinds of innovation and a world-class golfing experience at Miramichi in Woodstock.
Stop. Pick up your golf clubs. Head to my favorite place, Vantage Point Golf Center, 9580 Macon Road in Cordova. Open 7 days a week. Vantage Point Golf Center. They got it all. Top Tracer powered by Top Golf. Track your shots like the pros. You know exactly where you hit the ball. Have a beer, eat a sandwich, and relax. Over 50 grass spots and fully lit for nighttime. There are 18 holes of mini golf. It's fun for the whole family. Visit Vantage Point Golf Center. They've got it all. 1 mile west of Houston Levee.
The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main downtown has all your game day needs with 30 TVs. If your game is not on one of the 20 big screens, then sit in a booth with your own remote. The Vault has game day specials on pitchers, buckets of beer, and great food, which is the best thing about the Vault. This is not your normal sports bar. Chef Dirk Meitzler from On Tour and Cafe 621 has all his favorites like Chicken Newport and his new lobster enchilada. Open for lunch and dinner every day with lunch specials for $12 weekdays with a drink. The Vault on G.E. Patterson in South Main, your downtown place to eat, drink, and watch the game.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
New Life Medical Center has moved to a new, larger location that allows them to better serve their patients. I go to New Life Medical Center for testosterone replacement therapy, which is one of many things they do. They also treat erectile dysfunction and can relieve the pain of joint injuries with stem cell and platelet-rich plasma treatments. They also take care of patients with diabetes, high blood pressure, sick visits, and much more with no appointment necessary and minimal wait times. New Life Medical Center is now at 9160 Highway 64. That's just off I-40. Stop in and see what they can do for you.
Got something you want to get off your chest?
You better have a backup plan.
Want to join the conversation?
Someone needs to tell him he has to grow up.
Join us on the First Bank phone lines at 360-8255 or the First Bank text line at 67129. Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochin and Brett Norsworthy.
67129, and a texter accused Dave of ducking us today. Ducking us because of the Cubs. No. Today's Rosh Hashanah. Dave is celebrating family and friends, and no. He's not ducking anybody. He has before, but it's not the case today.
Not today. I'll give him that today. we will not drag him in front of the committee today.
Because of my high principles, I start the show today with Go Cubs Go. That would have been cheap, wouldn't it?
Well, he's not here to defend himself, so I would have liked it.
So why do it?
I mean, we can. That could be our exit music for the hour.
No.
I'm sure?
Not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. That would be a little. That's a little dirty pool. That's sandbagging.
You're right. And I did just compliment you last segment on how big of a person you are.
yeah, but I did think about it.
Thinking about doing something and doing something are two very different things.
No, in the preseason, we did baseball picks in the American League. 2 out of 3 right for divisions for me. I had the Yankees, I had Cleveland, and I had Houston. So it's 2 out of 3. That ain't bad. That's what the saying is, isn't
I'll take it.
Wild card in the American League, I wasn't even close. Had Angels over Red Sox. Angels. American League Manager of the Year, Brad Osmus. He can send the thank you note to me, can he? Boy, that was the jinx from 800 miles away, wasn't it? Dave did really well on wild card picks, not necessarily on division picks. He had in the East Boston, he had in the Central Cleveland, and he had Houston in the West. So 1 out of 3 on the division, but had the wild cards as Oakland at New York. So he ended up getting 3 out of 5 correct picks in the AL, as I got in the AL as well. In the National League, I had the Braves, Cardinals, and Dodgers. 3 for 3. Nailed them all the way across. That was easy, though, wasn't it? I mean, how tough was it picking the Dodgers? Not at all. Really, how tough was it picking the Braves and the Cardinals? While I really believed it, I got some fandom in me. I got a little fandom in me. If you're watching on the stream right now, I got a Cardinal shirt on. I'm not a team employee, but I'm proud of my team. But I did think Mike Shildt would get some things fixed that he got fixed, namely the defense. Go from worst in the league on eras to the least. You look down at the Cubs. You look down at the Dodgers. It's about the only weakness of the Dodgers is get that ball in play. Hit it at them. See if they won't throw it in the stands. There aren't many weaknesses to find in the Dodgers. I never do well on wild card picks, ever. I did get Milwaukee, but had Colorado as the other one. So I was 4 out of 5 in the American League. Dave had Philly in the East, Cubs in the Central, Dodgers in the West. Wild card, he had Washington over Milwaukee. So, okay, pretty good. 3 out of 5 there. So both of us, 6 out of 10 of tickets punched. Just a little bit out of line on exactly where they'll be on seed. I'm looking forward to play tomorrow. Tomorrow night is the National League game, right? And then Wednesday night,
yes.
And then Wednesday night, the American League game. And follow along here, for college football, NFL football, NBA basketball, college basketball, or Major League Baseball, that big 5. I'm leaving out hockey. That big 5 sports.
Why you got to leave out hockey?
I know. We're going to do hockey.
You know I'm a hockey guy.
You are. You're one of the foremost hockey people in the South.
Come on. I'll be at the Preds game October 19th. I'm going to try to do a double. If Memphis and Tulane kick off at 11, I'll be able to do the doubleheader.
Preds and...
Cannot tell you who we're playing. Fiance bought the tickets.
The foremost hockey analyst in the South.
Panthers. We're playing the Florida Panthers.
Oh, I love the Panthers sweater, jersey. I love
great sweater.
That big old cat's coming right at you, isn't he? I like that. Boy, I just can't get over any animal story over that camel story John Harden gave on Hardenwood the other day. Man, anytime you think you're remotely having a bad day, there's nothing going wrong compared to that story. I'm not even going to repeat it. I'll let John do it.
Yeah, that's more of his wheelhouse. And you have a great Hardenwood story if it makes the weekend update on Saturday Night Live that week, which it did.
Incredible. John Harden, the first. You found the story, though, gave it to John.
I did.
As we all are really access Hardenwood producers, input, screenwriters, kind of, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, really everything that we would like to say we give to John because he will say it.
Exactly, because he's the only one that can say it and pull it off.
Because he will say it. I mean, I don't think I can even tell that story or I'd get in trouble, wouldn't I?
We'd both get in trouble.
John lets it roll great, though, doesn't he?
There's just certain people that can get away with those types of things, and John's one of them, and he does a phenomenal job at it.
He really, really does. I tell you what he does a phenomenal job at, being himself. Easiest person on earth to be, and that's what John does.
He's only one of them, so you might as well be it.
But I do like the Panthers sweater. So you're going the 19th. If scheduling works out, boy, scheduling's not working for me and the Cardinals in the playoffs. Not at all. I mean, nothing. Really not anything, for sure not anything in Atlanta. And not much in St. Louis. Maybe if I just want to try to kill myself next Sunday, the up and back. And that's being debated with somebody whether we're going to try to do that. But I was so hoping around the Mizzou-Ole Miss football game that I could do something. It'd be more on Saturday. Friday's too hard. TV time's out today. Guess what time Ole Miss is kicking off against Mizzou?
2:30?
6 o'clock.
Oh,
no way.
You ain't doing that.
No way. Now, and can't
you would have had to get the 11 o'clock slot to do anything.
In the Friday schedule for us with Dave traveling to Philly, I need to get to Columbia and get settled in plenty early Friday afternoon, even trying to do it on the fly somewhere in St. Louis and go to the Friday night game. And I can't do that. I need to have my energy on my job, either here or
the thing that pays you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really can't have the one time, and that I really thought I didn't do them such a great job on a game day was the Saturday after Game 7 in 2011 in St. Louis to win the World Series over the Rangers. And, we'd been up there between rain delays and actual games. Heck, we'd been there since Tuesday. And then on Saturday, I finally get to Auburn for a pregame that Saturday night, and I really can't remember much about it.
They can't really blame you. They know how much that meant to you. I mean, so if you get one pass, it might as well be for after you win the World Series.
And sadly, Randall Mackey played about like I felt that night. He didn't play very well that night at quarterback for Ole Miss, but the playoffs, they're here. First slight complaint, and I don't want to complain. I really don't. I see some of these first pitch times, like on TBS, at 7:08 Central. That's an 8:08 game in Washington, D.C. Why are we doing that? Okay, in the days of everything on networks, I knew why they stayed out of the 6 o'clock Central time window for local affiliates and news, right?
Makes sense.
It made enough sense. They're paying the freight, they're paying the bills. It made enough sense. TBS doesn't have any news window.
No.
That game needs to be starting minimum 40 minutes earlier.
Probably should get started somewhere around 6:30 Eastern time.
Or 7 at the latest.
At the latest.
7:20 if you just want to go crazy. Eastern time, 6:20, and backwards in the Central time zone. Because we know the merry-go-round of pitching changes that we're going to have starting about the fourth inning of matchups come playoff time, and especially in those wild card games. If you're dressed, be ready to grab a bat or go to the bullpen. We may need you tonight.
Yeah, because there is no tomorrow. You have to play for today.
And as many times as I kind of come in here and go, tonight's must win. No, it's not. No, I mean, what's going to happen if you don't? Those wild card games other than maybe a elimination game, a game 5 or a game 7, or if you're down 3, whatever, that is as elimination as we get.
And it's basically a game 163 because if you lose that game, you're not wearing the postseason hat. You're not wearing the postseason shirt. You're not putting up anything around the stadium for because you weren't even really there if you don't win that game.
That's right.
I like the game from a fan perspective, but when it's my team in there and my team has been in that game twice, I'm not a fan of it because it doesn't even feel like we did anything, especially the year that we lost to Toronto.
We're on the same page on this one, Drew, and I talked about being at the Masters this year and really impressed. I really was with the wall-to-wall. Clemson fans had bought every merchandiser on earth out of national championship golf shirts because you got to have a collared shirt on the property. They had any color, purple, orange, white and purple, white and orange. Any combination of Clemson colors, of various logos, of anything that said 15-0, national champs, they had it. Wind gear, cold gear, long sleeves, short sleeves, shorts, long pants. They had it. If you could buy it with a national, and I talked about it that Monday or Tuesday when I got back. Very impressed with it. Next summer, do you really go out sporting the wild card gear that you lost? Do you really sport the wild card gear you won?
No, you don't.
You go on to the next thing, don't you?
Yes.
Now, if you go on to a Magic run, maybe as a novelty, this is where it started. Now, how many people really going to know that on the first tee at the summertime scramble when you got on your wild card golf shirt?
Exactly. It doesn't – it means a lot to you if you win it and you move on to the DS.
And you catch a wave.
You can catch something. But if you lose it, it's just like, well, we just wasted 3 days of our vacation, kind of.
Really, shouldn't the wild card games be played in Dayton too?
They really should. We should we need to start the committee for that.
Scott Boras has said that we will see it sooner rather than later, the neutral site World Series. Not for all 7 games. Maybe games 1 and 2 at the team with the best record. Game 3 at a neutral, and then maybe a 4 and 5 at the other team's place, and then back to for 6 and 7. Oh, please.
I'm not a fan of that. Please don't ever do that.
I mean, that is when spontaneous combustion occurs with me and I blow up.
I'd give up. That might be the day that I give up.
If you can Google the number of people on Earth that have died from spontaneous combustion, I'm
guessing it's 0.
No. It has happened.
People, that's a real thing.
Yeah. But it starts with 0 point something. Okay? I would be shocked if it's even a 1 point in there. But that's how Brett goes. The day I see a neutral site World Series, 1 game, 1 pitch. That's when I can't do it anymore.
I couldn't even do it for, say, the wild card game. I don't think that's fair.
I have said I'm gonna quit making those comments of if this occurs in sports, I'm done, because I know I won't be. Because I think there was a time I even said the next baseball strike, I'm out. Get ready. We're gonna have a next one. I don't know how many games are going to be missed. I don't know if it's going to be a season like in '94 or just a month or really try to scare them and it's a week. We're going to have one, and I'm not going to give up on it. I'm not going to quit on it. I keep coming back. They know I'm going to come. They know we're going to come back.
They really do, and that's the problem with sports. And I think especially the way that a lot of us treat it is like, it's not just something. It's a part of us. It's a part of our identity, and that we put it on such a high value that we're going to keep coming back regardless of how much they change it. And they know that us diehards are going to keep coming back, and they're going to try to change it and turn it around and twist it to get 4 random people off the street to like it. And I think that's so bad for your sport.
So true. They're trying.
There are people that like baseball, and there are people that don't like baseball, and you shouldn't try to make somebody like it. Just let us enjoy it.
And if you don't, that's fine. I mean, again, there are foods I don't like. If you like them, dive in.
If you want to eat dressing and cranberries every day of the year, go ahead.
Go get you a big plate of cranberries. That's fine with me. I don't mind that.
To each their own.
Green bean casserole for everybody. That's fine with me. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat it on Thanksgiving Day. But I will go matter of fact on this. Neutral site World Series game, I'm out. Now, it's why the most dangerous person in the room is the fella that doesn't have anything to lose. I don't have anything to lose there because by the time it happens, I think my kind of great reward may have already come and gone, but Boris has been threatening it coming soon. Soon. We know it's not going to happen next year. So I got that year for me. 67129 at the First Bank text line, 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line, and we appreciate the great people at First Bank. Newer to Memphis, but not to Tennessee. First Bank, the third largest bank headquartered in the state of Tennessee. 75 offices, 58 full-service branches, 1,400 associates, and now 4 great locations in Memphis. One on Poplar by International Paper, one in Germantown, one on Highway 64 in Bartlett, and one on Highway 64 in Oakland. Experienced Memphis bankers that you know and trust, that you see in the community, you see out at sports, you see at church, you see at social, you see at food places around town. They all have deep Memphis roots in banking and business experience and expertise. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. They know what you need at First Bank. You need a reliable, trustworthy banker that can give you an answer. They make the decisions for you in Memphis, right here in Memphis, not in Birmingham, not in Nashville, not in Knoxville, not in Atlanta, right here. They will know your name. You will not be a number. If you walk into one of their branches, you will not be treated like the creature from the Blue Lagoon at a lot of these big banks that don't have a clue who you are. First Bank will know you, and they will appreciate your business. Build your success story with First Bank. That is firstbankonline.com. We come back. Medals, you're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Sports 56 now has 2 FM homes. You can now find Real Sports Talk on 96.1 as well as 87.7 on your FM dial.
If you're the owner of a company and you're tired of a dirty office building, or maybe you're tired of dirty restrooms, or floors and carpets that are filthy, or windows that you can't even see through, I've got a solution. Let Trinity be your cleaning solution. Trinity Professional Services. They're putting professionalism back in cleaning. They specialize in stripping and waxing and buffing floors, in cleaning carpet. Just make it seem like it's spring outside. Window cleaning where you see through and everything shines. Commercial janitorial services specializing in final construction cleaning. Hey, the people that own this company, they are big construction people. They know what needs to be done. So if you would like it done the right way, call Todd Pope or Tommy Ferrari, the former Tiger quarterback, at 833-6773. 833-6773. It's Trinity. They're your cleaning solution.
DeSoto Auto Sales specializes in late model cars with low mileage. They have the highest standards in the car industry. All of their cars are test driven, checked out from head to toe. Unlimited inventory, every make and model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find it for you. Walk in the door of DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Within 45 minutes, you can test your car, get credit approval, and finish paperwork within an hour. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. Kind, courteous employees, a down-home environment. DeSoto Auto Sales cares about your time. Lowest prices in a 350-mile radius. We're living in a world today where time does matter. Visit them online. Check out their referrals. DeSotoAutosales.com. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and other surrounding areas. DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road. Call 662-890-7184. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales.
Jim Gray from Westwood One with a Monday Night Football preview, sponsored by Dickey's Barbecue Pit. They deliver the Q to you. Head to Dickies.com or use the app. NFC North action coming up as Andy Dalton and the Bengals travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Both teams looking for their first win of the season while dealing with key injuries. Cincinnati awaiting the return of receiver A.J. Green, while Pittsburgh is now without quarterback Ben Roethlisberger for the year. Mason Rudolph is under center.
We can't be that slow starting in the first half, and I got to give our team and our defense, more of a chance to put some points up early and get ahead, man. With all the turnovers they created, they played unbelievable, and they did everything we asked of them. Coach asked of them through the week, and we just got to back them up. We got to have their back.
Kevin Harlan and Kurt Warner will have the call on Monday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
O'Reilly. This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Napa know-how. Now at Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers, get a $20 prepaid Visa gift card when you buy oil, air, and cabin air filters. Because let's be honest, you probably don't remember the last time you changed them. So buy all 3 filters at your local Napa and get $20 back. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care centers. Limit 2 prepaid cards per household while supplies last. Offer ends 10/31/19.
Listen up, Rebel fans. You can now listen to Rebel Yell Hotline on 87.7 FM or on the web each and every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. If you can't listen to 87.7 FM, Sports 56 has made it possible to listen online each and every week. All you have to do is go to sports56whbq.com and click on the Rebel Yell Hotline banner to listen. That's Rebel Yell Hotline each and every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. on 87.7 FM or on the web at sports56whbq.com.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches, 6482 Poplar Avenue just east of International Paper, 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase, and 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Thank you, Drew Barrett. Time for Precious Metals. I will start with the bronze. Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. Forever linked, and both with big wins yesterday. 4 TDs for Jameis at the Coliseum over the Rams, 55-40. Is that right? I know that was.
Yes, 55-40.
The first 55-40 score in the history of the Shield. They've never had it. Boy, I can get lost for days at Football Ref at the scores. And I did this morning. 3 for Mariota and road win for the Titans in Atlanta. He's the only NFL quarterback to start every game this year that does not have a turnover. 0. No fumbles, no interceptions for Marcus Mariota. Arthur Smith doing a fantastic job with him and with the Titans. Silver medal, SMU ranked for the first time since 1986. Keep that in mind. That will be part of the Germantown Commissary and Collierville Commissary 6-pack of the day. Trivia question coming up at some point today. And that's good for the Tigers. And maybe undefeated versus undefeated November 2nd. And game day that day, I think the biggest competition comes from the cocktail party. That's big competition. If they're both undefeated, we know where they'll be.
It'll be there.
But at that point, even if they are undefeated, and I know ratings matter and larger markets matter and the brands and all, I know all that. But the SEC fatigue with game day, for the game day people, it would be so much more organic and better pictures going out in Memphis for undefeated SMU in Memphis than it would be for undefeated cocktail party.
And nothing against the cocktail party, but isn't College Game Day supposed to be on campus? At stadiums? I mean, where?
Yeah, they go to Arlington to that game, and I think they have this year.
I mean,
yeah, but
and once again, nothing against the cocktail party, but it's at a neutral site.
Plenty of reasons why I think that day, if they are, that would be better pictures. Like when they go to Fargo or wherever they go for that game, which I think's goofy. Gold medal to the division winners. I picked 5 of 6: Yankees, Astros, Twins, Braves, but also L.A. and St. Louis. I did not pick Twins, but congratulations to them. I missed on the Twins like the whole world did. Gold medal to Mike Schilt and Rocco Baldelli. I think that should be your managers of the year. Another gold medal to Tua. He's the best Bama quarterback ever, and I don't even think it's arguable. And I do know this. It's unarguable that he'll be the number 1 pick next April 23rd when the draft is in Vegas. Gold medal goes to Jalen Hurts. He and Tua on a collision course for the Heisman and maybe something even more come playoff time for college football, and also a gold medal to the team I think is the best team in SEC right now today. That's Gus Malzahn's Auburn Tigers, maybe the most impressive September of anyone in college football. Your medals.
All right, I'm going to try to keep it as quick as possible. I'm going to give a bronze, and before I say, please do not take this as a slight, a pat on the head or anything, but I do think Arkansas deserves a bronze. I know they lost A&M in heartbreaking fashion, but for a team like Arkansas after San Jose State that could have given up, could have just said screw the season.
A medal for kind of winning?
I'm going to, because over the weekend I saw so many teams just give up on the year. We've seen Houston give up on the year. We saw South Florida.
They lost to San Jose State at home.
I know, but they're not giving up.
Okay, it's your medals.
I'm giving them a bronze
for
not giving up,
I'm sorry,
and I'm giving a bronze to Hicks,
I'm sorry,
who actually seems like he can play quarterback.
He's terrible.
I did pretty well in that fourth quarter. I enjoyed it, so I just wanted to say not a pound the head, not a slight. I'm actually giving Arkansas the props.
Kind of being a slight.
I know, and that's why I wanted to get it across first off. I'm giving a silver to Memphis 901 FC, winning 5-0 over the weekend and winning 5 straight. Also,
5-0. That's like 95-0 in football.
Pretty much, yeah.
In other football.
Yeah. Also going to give a silver to Devontae Smith of Alabama, 11 receptions, 274 yards, 5 TDs against Ole Miss over the weekend. Going to give 2 golds, a gold to all the division winners, and including your Cardinals winning the NL Central. And going to give a gold to Minshew Sanity, Minshew Magic. Gardner Minshew, 2-0 in his NFL starts. And this is a guy not too long ago got kicked out of Greensboro, North Carolina, because he couldn't play. He couldn't do it for East Carolina. Greenville, my bad.
What a win for the Jags yesterday. And Minsanity broke out, but it was a lot of Leonard Fournette coming at you yesterday, looking like Leonard Fournette too often on nights I saw him against Ole Miss. My rust goes to, not to him, but to how the ouster ended up, the exit. It went from pajama party and high old times in Chicago to it ending like this for Joe Madden. He can name the job he wants among these available jobs and probably could turn the screws a little tight on some that are taken by some people and get them. And for it to end like this, and from the All-Star break on, they strung him along. I mean, they really left him with almost voiceless, and really for the Cubs to have the year they had playing under those conditions was quite remarkable. You're Russ?
I've got 2 quick rusts. I'm going to give a big rust to my Ravens and their defense, giving up 40 points to the Brown and an 89-yard run to Nick Chubb. Just awful. And I'm giving a rust to Nebraska, looking like a JV team against Ohio State. We talked about Tennessee last week. I think you can start putting Nebraska in the same boat.
And the preseason love for Nebraska. Remember, we questioned that. All 3 of us questioned, why are they getting that kind of love, that quarterback getting that kind of love, Scott Frost getting that kind of love. And everybody agreed. Nebraska partisans agreed. If he doesn't do it, it's over for Big Red.
Which is a shame, and especially for a fan base that, regardless of outcome, shows up.
Not one better. I mean, from the time Corso put the headgear on Saturday morning at 10:58, it was all downhill from there. Ohio State really looked good. 1 hour in the books. When we come back, David Cobb from the Commercial Appeal. He joins us from Memphis Grizzlies Media Day as it begins. Hour 2 begins in about 2.5 minutes. You're listening to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with a new tankless water heater with 24 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. These energy-saving models only heat the water you use, saving you money on your gas bill every month. And with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. See why I say now's the perfect time? Call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Yeah, so Aiden's coffee spot is really undope. They asked what they can get me, and I'm like, the code to the bathroom. Stop trying to sell me something.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
Also, the Wi-Fi password was too hard to spell, and I can, totally spell stuff.
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
They didn't have any cups out for the free cream, so I just drank it out of the pitcher.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park. Top Tracer gathers data such as distance, carry, ball speed, and more. Compete against friends in a points game, long drive, and virtual golf at courses such as Pebble Beach and St. Andrews. Golf and Games Family Park is a great setting for group and company outings, golf lessons, or individual practice. Experience fun, friends, family, and introducing Top Tracer Range, the new ball tracking and gaming system at Golf and Games Family Park, 5484 Summer Avenue.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also keep up to date with everything going on by keeping up with Sports 56 on social media. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch for information on breaking news, chances to win prizes, and video of all the shows. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Stay in touch with Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 on social media. We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Thank you, Drew Barrett. Hour 2 starts on this busy Monday, September 30th. Tomorrow we bring in October. That means the weather's going to get cool, right? Not yet.
Not a chance.
Not until a little bit later in the week. Dave's out today with his family and friends in observance of Rosh Hashanah. He'll be back in here tomorrow. Busy week for him, and I know he heads off to Monroe on Friday. I'll be in Oxford on Friday, but we got it covered. Drew always here, and Austin's busy this Friday, so hope the new Ethernet line's reliable Friday in Oxford. I think it will be.
It's batted 2 for 2 last couple weeks.
Boy, it has. It really has. I mean, just as strong as signal as we can get. We go downtown to FedEx Forum to Grizzlies Media Day. We visit every Monday at this time. We always enjoy visiting with David, but it is really starting to pick up a game next Sunday. Media Days today. To talk about it with us from the Commercial Appeal, the beat writer for the Grizzlies, our friend David Cobb on Twitter at David W. Cobb. David, how are you?
I'm good. I'm especially good now that we don't have to talk about what I saw from Marco Guduric in the FIBA World Cup, and I don't have to tell you my bad college football takes.
You don't have a bad college football take. You didn't have a bad Marco Guduric take either, David. I love any take from you, David.
I appreciate that.
And you knew the first question I was going to start with, and I just saw your response because it was kind of a crazy first hour. So I'm going to start with what I gave you advance warning on. I didn't want to do you like that. John Hollinger today announced he's going to be a part of the Athletic. I look forward to it. I like John. I do. I love reading him. I just don't. I'm going to ask you, what do you think his biggest contribution to the Memphis Grizzlies was?
I'd like the response I saw on Twitter earlier, which is that since he came from ESPN, he helped the Grizzlies get named ESPN's best-run franchise. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I definitely think that he helped sort of push along the analytics movement. It's hard to trace any exact moves to him because he wasn't the number one, and it's been so convoluted over the years as to who was actually making the decisions. So I really don't know, and he's the type that wouldn't necessarily tell you,
that's right.
I actually, was the brains behind this great signing, but he came in when they were hot, and over the years they kind of dwindled off as the core four aged and was traded last year and stuff. But, I I think he helped push him along in the analytics stuff, and probably just brought a different perspective. It's hard to say. I mean, do you have an answer? Like, what would your answer be to that?
There wasn't one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, and you were much nicer than I. But Drew made the good point in all the cooks in the kitchen comparisons we always have. Right. Don't know if he had a main dish, but he didn't burn the kitchen down. But the kitchen got burned down on his watch.
Yeah, it did. So that's tough. It's tough to assign blame on what went wrong over the last few years. Chris Wallace has obviously kind of taken the fall by no longer being a part of it.
But he had the most to lose, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you have that title of general manager, it kind of falls back on you. And, I mean, I guess you could argue, though, that it all should fall back on the owner. And, yeah, maybe that's where we are now. Maybe now that the page has been flipped and that Pera has his fingerprints on everything that's going on now in terms of the leadership hierarchy and the roster, maybe now we can kind of start to put the mantle fully on Robert Pera. You probably could have before, but he walked into a good situation, and over the years it got progressively worse. Now he has a chance to make it a great situation. So I think now it's on him. And Zach Kleiman talked today about how Robert is a true partner in all this. So maybe that's where we are.
And David, that's why we have you on. That's the answer. You nailed it. It's not as much Chris Wallace or the Baronis or all the names from the past, John Hollinger, or all the front office machinations from the past. And I don't think it is about the future as well, because at some point, how many different names can you go through? Through Levian, through Wexler, through Kleiman. At some point, the onus has to be on Robert Pera, and it never has been. He's always had an escapability on the blame game, and I guarantee you before this segment ends, every time it comes up, the slightest form of criticism at Pera, we get from many, not just a few. We get from many. Hey, lay off him. He's the owner of our team. Go Grizzlies, go. Wave those flags. Keep being bootlickers in the media. And he's never challenged because he's hardly ever challengeable to be here, to be accountable. Facts only. What happened to that?
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Zach say today, kind of just acknowledge, like, he may not be the most forward-facing. I think that's the phrase he used. That he may not be the most forward-facing guy, but, today it was evident from hearing Zach's remarks that Robert's actively involved in this. And so I think now, I don't think there should be any question about that. I mean, obviously, Zach Kleiman will deserve credit and blame, and Taylor Jenkins will deserve credit and blame, but this is Robert's thing now. The core four was not necessarily his thing.
Not at all.
Now it is his thing.